So if you're a guy and it's Friday night and you want to look fresh, you want to get your hair done. And especially if you go to a barber shop. I've been lucky enough to find my barber, which, as some of you know, if you go to a barber shop, it's a very special situation. You got to find somebody that understands your head and that makes you feel good every time you go there. And today we have David Perrone. Thank you so much for being here today, brother. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
That's awesome. David, it's like I said, he's my personal barber, but why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you started in this barber thing?
So from Las Vegas, Nevada, born and raised.
Yeah?
Not many of us.
No.
Um, I grew up in a pizza shop when I was a little kid. Started cutting hair. I don't know. Maybe I've always kind of messed with my own hair since I was little, but maybe 16, kind of started messing with a couple of friends here and there, like cutting them up, and then 21 became a bartender.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of my social skills came from. And then at about 24, 25, I got fed up for working for somebody.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Let me do what I want to do. And I went to barber school, and the rest is history.
That's scary, though.
It's extremely scary.
I mean, going from, this is what nobody talks about. Going from getting paid every week just to show up and do your job. But having that kind of certainty that by the end of the week, as long as you don't do something very, very bad,
Right.
you're gonna have a paycheck. And then, because I'm assuming you went because you didn't like to work for anybody else. Is that what the reason, or what was it?
That's essentially the only reason. I was making great money.
Yeah.
There's some nights I'd walk out with $3,000. There's some nights I'll walk out with $300. If I got called into work,
No shit.
yeah, honestly, if I got called into work as a bartender and I made $300, I was pissed.
Wow.
I'm like, why'd you even call me in? Like, I should have stayed my ass at home.
Yeah.
But becoming a barber, the first month or two, like the first week I worked, I think I made $300 or $600.
Yeah.
And that was devastating. It was hard. It was hard to deal with.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, brother, because in this podcast we talk about being business owners and how we deal with the bad times because we don't have all the choice. I mean, it comes with the territory. What was your expectations? I do real estate and I have a team and I interview a lot of agents that want to get into this business, and I asked them, what do you expect to do? How many homes do you expect to sell? And whatever, when they tell me, it's completely mind blowing because they expect to sell a lot, which
Right.
is not reality. What was it like for you when all of a sudden you went from making a really good amount of money
Said nothing.
to pretty much something very basic? What was that like?
Yeah, it's crazy because I used to went from, like I said, $300 a night. I was
Sure.
pissed. I'm like, why'd you call me into work?
Right.
To $300 a week.
Right.
And I just gave myself no way out. Basically, I quit bartending. I quit every avenue I could to make money. And I sat myself in that barber shop and I made it work. Everybody, I noticed the first thing coming in was everybody came to work early in the morning.
Mhm.
So they came to work like 9 o'clock till about, 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what can I do? The owner was cool with me staying late
Okay.
because I'm used to, my early mornings back then, because I was a bartender, was like 11 o'clock.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I mean, the clock is completely different when you
Right.
work at night. Absolutely.
So, I talked to the owner. I'm like, hey, is it cool? Can I stay a couple hours later? He's like, yeah, that's cool. Eventually, after a couple of weeks, if they trust you and they give you the key,
Yeah.
and you can lock up and go home and
Yeah.
do things yourself. So essentially, it's just like you renting out the space, and then it's just like your own little private studio,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So I noticed everybody coming early. So I would just say, you know what? I'm going to come in 11 till about 9. I'm going to get those calls from
6 to 9.
right. So I figured everybody stops taking calls because they're booked about 3, 4 o'clock, 2, 3, 4 o'clock after lunch. We usually go to lunch around 1. So I'd be like, hey, what time you want to come in? 7 o'clock? Cool. Come on down. 8 o'clock? Cool. Come on down. I got you. And then people would be surprised, like, really? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Let's go. Because we're in Vegas. It's 24/7.
24/7, especially after 5. I mean, most people.
Exactly,
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
You know,
And so you decided to what nobody else wanted to do because they didn't need to do it because they already had their book. You saw that opening. You said, "Listen, if I want to make this happen, I have to be available for everybody who wants to be available at the
correct.
beginning."
Correct.
How long did you go doing that before you started to create your own schedule?
Um, shoot. I
Because I know it takes
mean,
a long time to get established in any kind of business. You know what I
right.
mean? How long did it take you?
So this year, October will be 5 years of me barbering.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I still am pretty flexible.
Yeah.
I would say just this year, I'm being a little more not flexible.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd say 4 years
It's
of grinding.
4 years of grinding, and that's what it takes, brother. That's in every business that I've been doing this for 20 years, and I still have to do things that I thought at the beginning that I was never going to have to do again. It's like, no,
No, you got to
this is
keep
this
going.
is this is what it is.
If you want to succeed, you got to keep that same fire that you had at year one
Every that's
every single year.
brother. That's a great line. Let's touch a little bit. Let's touch a bit of that because with any business, as you go, there's ups and then there's downs, and then of course our personal lives gets in the way, and
Right.
then we have to kind of being able to separate what we do at home versus what we do in our business. How
Correct.
do you deal with the downs? Because I'm pretty sure there's I mean, I don't know, is there like certain months where you don't make the kind of money that you need to make and you need to readjust to that, or what do you think of that?
I think the farther along you get through the game
Yeah.
of doing this, that it's more consistent. And I think that's the only way that you can tell if you're doing a good job.
Right.
The better consistency you have, the less downs that you have,
Right.
that means that you're doing better. You should get to a point where you don't have any downs. At first, yeah, it's up and down. It's hard.
What were there any doubts in your mind when you started? Because 4 years is a lot of time to grind.
Mhm.
And I get it, brother. I mean, sometimes it just takes time to realize what it is and whatnot. Uh, when you started on this business, were there any people that didn't believe in you, or that told you, you know what, this is just such a hard gig to do. Why don't you just get a job?
Absolutely. One of my biggest, growing up, I didn't have a dad.
Uh-huh.
So one of the biggest people that kind of hurt was a guy that I looked up to as a father.
Yeah.
And he, kind of downplayed the barbering thing and said I wouldn't like it. He's also the same person that got me into bartending and making money.
Right.
He's also the
Right.
same person that owned not the barber shop, sorry, owned the pizza shop
Yeah.
that I worked at as a little kid.
Sure. Sure.
So he was a good supporter, but the older I got, I realized he was only rooting for me if I rooted for him.
Oh, and also maybe it's because I've had that happen to me where brother, there was times where it was very rough in this business. I said it's in every business, and I had times where I remember my mom came to me and she goes, "Why don't you just I just don't like to see you this stressed.
Right.
Why don't you just get something else?" And I remember I took offense to that, but now looking at it, they may have wanted what's best for us, and they didn't want us to suffer because, brother, it's a hard gig to have our own thing going, don't you think? Or
I think people want to help people that are suffering, no matter
yeah,
what.
exactly. And and by the
And
way,
that's
that's
what
what
I
they
do.
know. Yeah,
If
yeah.
my girl's hurting,
Yes.
or I see whoever it is, a
Sure,
little
sure,
kid,
sure. They come from the best
we try to
side.
help
We
out.
try to help out in the way that we think
Exactly.
it's correctly. Yeah. No, I get it.
Subconsciously, I think we naturally just want to help somebody to relax.
To relax. Yeah. No, I get it. I get it 100%. And now you're 5 years in. You have a very good clientele. Do you do you do you only work at the shop, or do you go to special clients that
I,
maybe they want to do it at their own home or a different venue?
Definitely, yeah, I do. So funny story. I had a
Mhm.
guy who hit me up on text message. He sent me all these weird little, headshots of front, back, side, and at first I thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
Like, because as a barber, if you're a barber, you guys probably know, that you get these weird text messages. You'll get text message that says like, "Hey, can you cut up 15 kids for basketball
really?
college or whatever?"
I see. I never thought about that. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so
No
they have
shit.
all these weird scams. So they'll do these scams where like they'll hit you up and be like, "Hey, we're gonna pay right now." I don't know the whole thing of it because I never went through with them.
But no, But I understand what you're saying. Oh wow.
They have another one that's really good where they'll text you, and I almost got one time because let's just say like okay, let's say a Carlos I had yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I know I had Carlos yesterday, and they'll text me and they'll be like, hey, brother, it's Carlos. Just they got lucky because they seen Carlos through my app left a review yesterday.
Oh.
So they'll go on there and they'll be like, hey, brother, hey, David, it's Carlos. Remember, I got my haircut yesterday. I just want to say that you left me with some
rashes, whatever,
some rashes or bumps, whatever it is, right? So immediately I'm like, I did that? Okay. All right. Well, what can we do to fix it? And then they'll be like, hey, like, I'm not trying to ask you for much, but, can you just give me back my haircut money? So you're immediately thinking like, okay, yesterday, Carlos,
Sure,
obviously, right?
Sure.
It's a great scam. And I think if you're doing that, I'm not going to knock it. Keep doing it. It's a great scam.
What do they say? You can't blame a man for trying.
You
know what I'm
you
saying?
can't. That's awesome.
That's a good. Well, I had one similar, brother, where I got hacked by my Instagram, and
That's right.
it was actually really cool. I mean, the way they did it. I mean, there was nothing technical about it. It was all human. This is how they did it. They copied somebody that I know Instagram, right? Now, this person that they copied is somebody that I work with here at the office, and then they sent me a message and said, "Hey, Chris, how you doing? Listen, I'm opening up a new business,
Yep.
and I like your support. Could you please, would you please support me if I send you the link?" And you go, "Well, yeah, because you're supposed to hear,
Of
brother. I'm
course.
here to support everybody. You
Of
know what I'm
course.
saying? We're gonna support people." And she sends. It's funny because she sends me or he sends me the link, and I'm literally looking at her. Like I'm in the office, I'm looking at her, but I was busy, and I go, "Okay, I guess." And I didn't do anything. Then she sends it to me again. She goes, "Hey, listen, did you get it? Please click on it." And then I was so busy that I just went through with it. Brother, they got into my in my Instagram, and they send messages to everybody. Apparently I opened up like a new gym, a new clothing line, and what was the other one? Anyway, bro, I was like the next best thing, and now what is funny is that it started to ask for their phone number. Like if I so it,
And
it's-
they repeat the process.
and they repeat the process.
I had the same thing. One of my clients did the same thing to me. And then
Well, it wasn't your client,
right, exactly. It wasn't my client, but thankfully I was like,
You caught
it
it.
took me a second. I'm waking up in the morning. I'm like, I don't know about this. And I open it up and I'm like, hold on, let me just see. End up texting him. And sure enough, he's like, yeah, my Instagram got hacked. Don't reply back. Same thing. Same thing with the what I was talking about. I had one where they hit me up and they're like, hey, it's whatever. It's John.
Yeah.
I was in there yesterday. My daughter's got Girl Scout cookies. Do you want any? Sure enough, I had a John yesterday by coincidence.
Wow.
So I'm like, and sure enough, John has 2 daughters. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not thinking about it. And they're like, yeah, like how many cookies you want? I'm like, cool, I'll take 2. Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, it was a new number.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not thinking about it. I'm like, all right, cool. How much? And they sent me a request for the money. It was only supposed to be like, I don't know, $24
Sure.
or something small.
Sure.
They sent me a request for like $100.
Wow.
So I'm like, hang on a second. Why
am I paying
why
for
is it $100 for 2
Bro.
things of Thin Mints?
I've never had them, brother.
Thin Mints?
No, Girl Scout cookies.
You've never had Thin Mints, Girl Scout cookies.
Is that what they are? Thin Mints?
You got all kinds, but Thin Mints that's the way to go.
Is that okay? I need to try this.
They're kind of good.
I've seen them on TV.
You ever had those little mints that they leave on your pillow in the hotel? Those little square ones.
Yeah, is that what they are?
They're
No, I know
similar.
what the
There's
bits are. Is
yeah,
that? But
yeah.
is that
They're
a cookie?
similar
Is
to
that,
that. They're similar to that taste.
brother? How has technology play a part on your business with everything that we have? I know I met you through an app.
Right. The cut
Which
app. Um,
do you pay for that service? Is that
I
a
do.
thing?
I do pay
Yeah,
for that service, and I look at it like me having a secretary in my pocket.
yeah.
So I pay. I think it's like $20 a month or something like that. So $20 a month. I have a secretary in my pocket.
That's incredible.
You guys are allowed to go on there,
Yeah.
see all my time schedules, everything that's available,
No, it's a great app.
and you can book whenever you need a book. You know.
You can book from there. You can pay from there, and but most importantly, for a business purposes, I found you through there.
Correct. Yeah.
So how is the do you advertise yourself in social media, or do you advertise yourself like on Google or through these apps like this? How do you get your business, brother, besides word of mouth, of
You know
course?
what? To be honest, I probably should promote myself
Yeah.
a little more through online, but I kind of learned it through the bar. The bar that I worked at was very word of mouth,
Yeah.
and I think as a barber, I don't know about you guys, but I know when I was a bartender and I was getting my hair cut, I never went to a barber because I seen their online account. I went to a barber because my friend Chris told me, hey, I
Right.
got a really good barber.
Yeah.
Go check him out. It's all been word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it's just some kind of like physical connection that you have with a client that I think
Sure.
makes it.
No, for sure, for sure.
You can promote all you want, you can do all that stuff, but I feel like the best way is word of mouth.
Yeah. No, 100%. No, as a matter of fact, I think once I started, I told Jay about it because we were looking. We
That's
had the
right.
same. We had the same barbershop. And now, how long have we been with you? Like 4 years, something like
Yeah,
that.
right about 4 years.
It's been a good thing. How does besides this apps, brother? Because I know that they've been great help for you because
They
it
are.
saves
They
a
are.
lot of time. What other technology have you used for your business that maintains at the level that you're working with right now?
So to be honest, I've tried every avenue. I've tried TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried Instagram, I've tried YouTube, I've tried all that stuff. Is it great? Yes. Now, do I think you're going to get clientele from it? Me being realistic and being an actual barber that's in the shop 6 days a week, you're probably not. I got 2 people from my Instagram account, and that's because I was tagging things that people don't normally tag.
Right.
So I was tagging zip codes, and I was tagging, that were the area that we're in.
Right.
So I figured people that are moving to my town. So like a lot of people are moving to Texas right now.
Yeah.
So if you're a barber in Texas, I feel like the best thing to do is put your zip code, because people are going to try to search up on Instagram things to do over here or whatever. You're with your girl or wife.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, let's go to a nice spot to go eat dinner.
Sure.
So food near me or whatever, you type in the zip code, but boom, the barber pops up. Oh, that shit, I need a barber too.
Yep.
I feel like those are the best ways to do it.
Like Google pay per click or stuff like that.
Right.
I agree with that. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
I think Google's a great way too.
Yeah,
if you're
for
gonna
sure.
pay to be that top person on Google, I think that's probably one of the best ways to do it. I personally haven't done it because I didn't really need to.
Okay.
I was already
You've been working 5 years at this thing, man. I mean,
been working
it takes a
5
lot of
years. I didn't do it at first. I probably should have, but money was tight at the beginning, and now it's definitely a lot better.
Sure.
So in the beginning, I tried to do everything I could that was cheap and free.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about that, brother, because when you start in a business, when you're self-employed, every single dollar counts.
Absolutely.
Every single dollar counts. What were some of your overhead when you start at a shop? You don't have to be specific to your
Right,
situation,
right.
but in general speaking, if I just graduated and I'm looking for a shop, do I pay a rent or do they take a cut? What does that entail in the barbershop? Like I said, you don't have to get into details about you, but in general.
So barbers don't hate me because I'm just gonna tell it how it is.
Oh shit!
But
Get fired.
You'll get fired tomorrow now.
but if you have a good shop owner,
Yeah.
and you're a new starting off barber, not somebody that's switching shop to shop because they don't like the guy that they're with or whatever the
Sure.
case is.
Sure.
If you're a good barbershop owner like the one that we have, they're gonna give you a grace period.
Okay.
Yeah. You're gonna go to the shop. Hey, I'm fresh out of school. You're gonna be bad at cutting hair. I don't care how good you think you are at cutting hair.
Sure.
You're gonna be bad at cutting hair.
Sure.
You're gonna learn everything you can learn in that barbershop. So that owner's gonna give you an opportunity.
Environment is important.
Right. And a good barbershop owner is gonna say, hey dude, come over here. First one's free, or maybe, $20 a week, or I'll take, a couple bucks out of every haircut.
Sure. They'll decide to get you going.
Yeah, just to get you building up.
Yeah.
And then, next month they'll be like, okay, cool. I see that you're growing. We're going to charge you $100 a week.
Right.
And then it's going to go from there to the max rent. And usually max rent for Las Vegas is around $220.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you're like at a high end place, the highest I could see it going is like $300 a week. And that's weekly. So
you better cut some hair, bro.
Exactly. You gotta get the cut.
You gotta get some. You gotta get some hair. So you're brand new, bro. You don't have the clientele. Now there. Like if you're lucky enough to find a shop like the one that you're in, where they were super cool about it and gave you a break starting, but still you still need money.
Correct.
What was did at any point did you say, you know what, maybe my friends were right? I mean, this is a little bit tougher than I expected.
Well, I went to Tropicana. I tried to sell myself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do.
You're absolutely right. There's been plenty of times where I thought maybe I should go back to bartending.
Yeah,
because bartending was such an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
I can go in there one night and make $300.
Yeah.
But I didn't give myself that option. I just said, screw it. We just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Stay focused. This is my only option.
You committed.
Like anybody, you could sell drugs to make extra money. You could
sell
feet pictures on freaking OF. You could do whatever you want to do to make extra money. But I just put all my eggs in one basket.
Right.
And went from there.
That's scary, man. That's but I think that's what is necessary to do anything at a high level to live, in your own way and not to work for anybody else.
It definitely is.
That's very, very interesting, brother. Where can we find you, brother? What are your social tags where people can find you and they can book you?
So Frosty_fades on Instagram.
Okay.
That's where you can find me.
And what about the app?
The app should just be Frosty Fades. Be the Real Barbershop in Henderson, Nevada. My phone number.
Yes.
Hit me up on my phone number.
Yes.
702.
Yes.
626.
Yes.
1771.
Yes. Guys,
I'm not Mike Jones.
Yes, no. Guys, if you want to get your hair cut, I really recommend. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
What great chat. Frosty Fates on Instagram. Also, the app is called In the Cut.
The Cut app.
The Cut app. And where's your shop located? Where are you working at?
I am at Windmill and Pecos.
Yep.
Henderson, Nevada, 89074. My phone number is 702-626-1771. Hit me up anytime for a haircut. Yeah.
Brother, great shop. Great place to hang, and definitely some fresh haircuts. Thank you so much, David. See you guys next week. You the man, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.